Hi, I'm Element.
And I am Choco, and we are the
DYAD in the Force. We're back with episode 4 of The Last of Us. As always, you can go to the description below for timestamps if you want to go straight to the reaction. We're doing something a little different. Of course, we're still joined by Danielle and Cal4. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Great. Yeah.
We are going to actually take a note from Choco's book this week. We're going to deafen him, and we're going to talk about what our predictions are for this episode.
Did you guys see the tweet? Bill was the soil and Frank was the flowers.
I did.
Come on, man.
Are we going to cry before the episode starts?
Sorry, I'm still reeling after last week. Super excited.
I do want to give a shout out to everyone in the comment section who is leaving wonderful comments about our discussions and our conversations. We pride ourselves, this community prides ourselves in being able to have conversations and being active listeners. You know, it makes me proud that we are not just 4 talking heads. We are just 4 friends talking to each other. But without further ado, let's deafen Choco and talk about what we feel is going to come up next. Choco, can you hear us? You can't.
Nice.
Okay. So I kind of...
He's not muted though.
I'll mute him. Hold on one second. I feel like this week we are going to meet Henry and Sam.
Yeah.
And did you play up to that much, Cal?
I've played through it, but I don't really remember much about them.
We're in for another tearjerker because, you know, Henry and Sam are like, I think brothers, right? If I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Sam gets turned, right? And it's one of those things where in the game, Joel meets Henry and then like they start to work together. Sam gets bit and like overnight, and that's what Henry wakes up to. Do you think they're going to change that at all or improvise?
I don't know. I know that they're already changing the city, which isn't a huge change. It kind of looks like they're going to focus on the group, the new like uprising group or whatever they are going to be in Kansas City that we don't really get to see in part 1. And so I could see maybe them like altering it a bit to fit in with how much time they might spend with that instead. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll change Sam's outcome or either of theirs.
Yeah, I can't foresee them changing much with like the characters and the circumstance. It might just be, you know, locations and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's a kind of a critical part to talk about and to show during this whole scenario is what do you do when someone you know and love turns, right? With Tess, it didn't really happen, right? Like they got bit and they knew it and they had their moment to kind of come to terms with that. But what do you do when you're met with the person and you don't get that closure? I think that's something that they're still going to want to touch on with this.
The one thing that I am concerned about is, do you guys think that the showrunners are aware that this show might become like the loss of the week? Like every episode is just like crying over people you've connected with and lost.
Yeah, I guess I could see that being a concern. But I wonder how much that matters when the death is so important to the character's development. You know, that loss is so important to Ellie, and like it's just another thing to add to her list of why she wants to be the cure, why she wants something to happen. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it would be really nice if they didn't. How would that alter Ellie's story if they didn't?
That's what ultimately impacts Ellie, and that's what we care about is like, how does this affect Joel and Ellie? I could definitely see that being a criticism that some people, if they have an issue with the show, could bring up.
Well, let us know in the comment section below what you think about this subject and if you had similar predictions. We're going to bring Choco back and we're going to ask for his lightning round predictions before we go straight into the episode. Hey, Choco.
Hello.
All right, so why don't you sing us your predictions for The Last of Us this week?
Woo.
Or not.
No. There's no predictions for me because of the non sequitur that was the last issue. I mean, I think that for sure we're going to run into a bunch of people and they're going to be dicks.
Yeah?
I mean, I feel like that's the safest bet. but running into some marauders and people. And I think Joel and Ellie are going to be separated. This is going to end with them separated. And Joel, for the first time, is going to have that freedom, but like misses her and like it needs to go back and save her.
Okay. All right. Let's see what episode 4 has for us.
Who's the girl? There's no girl.
Still thinking about this episode to this day.
I know. That's why
I
men
know.
like you and me are here.
So father of him.
Out the window.
All right, no cold open. We're just gonna go straight into it.
Just raw dogging it.
That first strum always gets me.
Yeah. The best part is I used to play DayZ to the Last of Us soundtrack back in the day too. Because like that's such a game where you're playing by yourself for a large part of it, and the soundtrack just fits so well with it because it's just so somber.
Makes sense. She's practicing her shooting face.
Yeah.
Don't point it at yourself, please.
Yeah.
Just say
Also,
what
don't
you
dry fire it.
say what you will
Never
about
know.
guns, but I feel like everyone should take a gun safety class.
I agree.
Just smelling the iron.
Well, you gotta be handy with a steel. Earn your keep.
Can't be some geek off the street. We don't typically see this in the game, huh? Just open, flat terrain.
Nope.
We have to do this
You're
every
always in
hour.
like a city or something.
Gas breaks down over time.
Nice. How does that work?
That is a
It's a side
better method than sucking on it.
Yeah.
travels against gravity because pressure.
You don't know.
I know it works. No wandering.
This is your fault then.
She's gonna practice shooting. Oh,
Doesn't matter how
Oh.
much you push the
Oh,
envelope,
the pun
it'll
book.
still be stationary.
Joel's like, what the fuck?
Volume 2. Look, you get it? COO. What did
Oh,
a mermaid
Jesus.
wear to her math class? An algebra. I've stayed up all night
No.
wondering
No.
where the sun went. And then it dawned on me.
Feel free to wait in the truck.
Okay, but just know, we can't escape Will Livingston. He'll be back. There's nothing we can do to stop him.
to be honest, I've never heard any of those puns before.
I'm glad that they brought new ones.
Oh, so those were in the game?
Must have been some truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to stick big ass plows on them and clear the roads for their tanks and such.
This was the
I love
original
this
one that
song.
they played, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Same line too.
Got something else.
Yes. Oh gosh.
I don't know reading, but it has some interesting pictures.
No. Put that back. That's not for kids.
I don't even walk around with that thing.
Get rid of it.
Hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these pages stuck together?
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
fucking with you.
Gosh, I thought they removed that from last week, but that's crazy.
Word for word.
Oh, please understand like me.
The visuals are so good.
Promise to honor, to love.
Arby's.
Arby's.
The darkness is falling.
This ain't an
The
Arby's.
sky has turned
Arby's didn't have a free
the
lunch.
hound in the distance
It's a restaurant.
is starting to bathe.
We're gonna get to see them camping.
Chef Boyardee.
Slow down.
This is slow. What am I even eating?
That is 20-year-old Chef Boyardee ravioli.
That guy was good.
I actually agree. Well, that would be Frank's then.
Why did the scarecrow get an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Dick.
He's playing along.
Very sweet.
Smile.
It was delightful.
The reaction, though. Dick.
You dick.
She trusts him so much.
Yeah, but we know someone's gonna find them because that's what the show does.
Because the strings are coming in.
That's true.
Coffee.
One of those little camp stoves.
The caterpillar wake up.
It's real.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
You don't like coffee?
Joel, you asshole.
76 west and then 70 west.
Long story.
Is it longer than 25 hours? Because I think that's what we got.
That's about it.
I'm not family.
No. Cargo.
Oh,
Promised to test.
Oh, damn.
Joel.
She was like family.
I'm not even tired.
oh, Sarah Lee.
I was about to say. Seriously. I know her.
She makes the bread.
Was it infected bread?
It does go off quite faster than most breads. And those are the things that keep them within city limits
Fuck is
and
a highway.
I can't tell from this. I'm all turned around.
Don't look at
dense
this state map, look at the
buildings.
I don't
inside.
know where we are in that either. This is my second day in a fucking car, man. I mean, I think we're heading north.
Put your seatbelt on.
Are we gonna
That
help
is the
them?
worst acting ever. That is a marauder for sure.
Oh, shit. Ah! Cool. Yikes.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
You're not hurt, nothing.
I don't think so.
That's off, fast! Squeeze through. When I say go, you crawl to that wall and you squeeze through and you don't come out until I say, okay?
Danielle, the things that they're yelling at them.
No.
I'm not gonna hit you. Look at me! I'm not gonna hit you.
Last chance!
You stay down, you stay low, you stay quiet. Okay. Go!
Damn.
You motherfucker!
You're marauding us. Oh, what are you...
You started this.
You can't be mad at me. And I pulled out my gun.
Heck. Oh shit.
How are you gonna fucking pay? Are you fucking dead? You fucking killed yourself, motherfucker!
Oh. What is she gonna do?
I'm gonna stab him like she did that zombie.
Really? Oh.
It's over. We're not fighting anymore.
Obviously.
Everyone, you're good. I don't know what to do. My mom isn't far. If you can get me to her. We can train
I mean,
with
she
you
did
guys.
just straight up
We
do him
can
in
be
the
friends
spine.
after it.
Like,
I'm Brian. I'm Brian. What's your name?
Nah, this guy's worst acting award ever. He's just trying to get in her head. She's a kid. Well, he did say it's for emergencies.
Oh. Oh, damn, Joel. Yikes. That's literally straight from the game.
Brian!
They got fucking Brian.
You know where Henry is. Lawyer. Medical attention.
And I'm sorry.
Is that Brian's mom?
This has gone too far.
Have I satisfied the necessary conditions for you to talk?
Wow.
Yes.
I like her.
I delivered you
Well,
What does that have to do with anything?
from my hand.
Ooh, power move right there.
saved by the horn.
Or is he their only doctor?
So those are in short supply.
We found a truck.
Hey, that's Jeffrey
It's
Pierce.
not a federal vehicle, but they were heavily supplied.
The doctor.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, they don't need the doctor. Okay, she's gonna go do it now.
And kill them all.
I don't know if you noticed, but that was OG Tommy. With the beard.
The guy that played him?
Yeah, who voiced him.
Everything.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
A little bit, maybe.
Thanks for shooting that guy in the spine.
Are you okay?
Choco thinks it personally.
Thank you for crippling that,
All
that
right.
boy.
Shooting. I know what it's like. First time that you
No, you really aren't.
I mean, it was my fault. You shouldn't have had to.
Same, Ellie. Bonding over gun handling.
Shoot your damn ass off.
Gun safety training. Protect your butt.
If you shoot your ass off, you're doing it wrong. That's what I learned.
Ellie.
Always the rebels.
Oh. Heck.
Are we going to see a blow-toe?
When do we tell the others?
That's a bad sign.
What we have to handle. We can deal with this after.
Kathleen.
Your face is a thumbnail.
Peel off the building for now. Okay?
Yeah.
What is it?
He thinks it's a bloater.
I had my words mixed up when I messaged Pep a prediction.
Oh shit, oh shit,
I would not make it very far.
I've been on both sides.
Joel's like, I can barely
We did
breathe.
what we needed to survive. It's gonna have to be.
I probably wouldn't make it to 5.
Get up, you lazy ass.
Lazy ass. 56 years old, you little shit.
Like that, I can relate to.
Say less.
You don't have to.
The reason I asked whether you'd hear the glass or not is because I've noticed you don't hear too well from your right side. Suppose you were shot there.
Probably more from shooting. So if you want to keep your hearing, you stick to that knife.
Joel, she was trying to buy.
I think it's more traumatic to use a knife, to be completely honest.
Joel, did you know diarrhea is hereditary? It runs in your genes.
I'm so mad. Laugh.
Stupid. Jesus, I'm losing it.
You're losing it big time.
Oh. Why?
Gosh, finally we got to laugh at this show.
Oh. Oh, God.
You had to dupes it.
You had to.
Oh, the song. It's from part 2.
That's the one she sings?
Yeah. In the trailer, I think.
Yeah,
True
I remember
faith.
it from the trailer.
Okay. Well, I think as for predictions goes, almost there, but we did meet them. It was, I think this episode was a breath of fresh air. I think we really needed a break from the tears and needed to live within their relationship and see them bond. And then just the laugh fest at the end of that. I mean, I just couldn't help. It was so contagious.
It's just endearing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like very much so a space where laughter is so needed, right?
Yeah.
Trauma
Like,
bonding, yeah.
Yeah, it's just there's so much gloom and doom everywhere. Like every day is a struggle. So anytime you can have those little moments to just feel something other than that, it's special.
I really like that Joel acknowledged how unfair it is that Ellie has to go through this at her age, that anyone has to go through it, but especially at her age, and that he didn't just kind of brush off the fact that she just shot somebody. He addressed it as best he could, and I feel like that was a huge step for him, and also a little bit of a deviation from the game, Joel, and I like it. I prefer this.
The kind of 180 that happens because of circumstance, you know? When they're driving in the truck, she's cargo, he's trying to keep her from becoming an attachment, and that stuff goes down where you're kind of depending on each other in a life and death situation and can't view each other in that way anymore.
Yeah, he kind of had to. This episode was the first time that we got to see him without Tess there to back him up. He has no backup. He has no safety net. Can't survive it on his own. Like, he actually needs her as well, and I think that's interesting.
I think the trust that Ellie already, I said this during, but the trust that Ellie already has in him, you can see so clearly. Like when she asks him if they're going to be okay, and he tells her they will, and she says, okay, because she trusts him already so much. If he says it's so, then it's going to be that way. And then when he tells her we're going to make it through this, she tells him, I know. It's just, there's no hesitation, no doubt in her mind that he will get her through this. I love that.
Yeah. Back to the laughing portion of this episode, because it is so impactful. Like Choco said, right? He doesn't have that support, that safety net from Tess, but Ellie provides a different kind. It's the kind where it's a morale booster rather than like an affirmation of how shitty the world is. Right?
Yeah.
That's why he finds it so hard to laugh. He's trying to keep it in. When you got puns that good, you gotta laugh. And so this kind of company, this kind of support is so much different from Tess, where sure, she has his back, but she's also dependent on Joel. But Joel is dependent on Ellie for morale and just sanity.
She hasn't seen like he said, she hasn't seen the world the way he has. And there's a necessity to that, I think, because Tess knew the same things he knew. She'd been through the same things he'd been through, but Ellie hasn't. She still has an innocence to her. And I think that brings a lightness to the situation, a light in the dark.
Yeah, I was gonna say not only a lightness, but it shines a light on the way things are supposed to be. So him saying like, you know, I've been on both sides of this. Like he used to jump people and steal their stuff. And for them at that moment, they probably didn't think they were doing anything bad. This is just a crappy situation. This is what we have to do to survive. But when this young girl, like, did you hurt innocent people? He probably never thought about it that way at any point in time. And like, it's forcing him to come to grips with like right and wrong still exist even at the end of the world.
And to bring it back around to Danielle's point about the necessity of innocence, her point of view of the world, it is true that a lot of people can become jaded to what they know, that they can't picture anything else. So when this is kind of like boomers to like younger people who are like, you'll know when you grow up, and like, but it's kind of like, sure, you know the world one way, but there is a necessity to viewing it from a different lens, a necessity to viewing it as a newbie, because all of your decisions and all of your perspectives is informed by your experience. But if you have somebody who is unbiased in that regard, you get that fresh look, that fresh perspective.
I was just thinking about the scene where he was telling Ellie it wasn't fair, and she said, you know, this isn't the first time I've had to, you know, do this. And she may be talking about stabbing the zombie, or maybe talking about something else, but it focused on his hand in that scene. I don't know if you saw the framing of it. So like the very first episode when they escape the quarantine zone, he punches the guy, and it messes up his hand. After Tess dies, the very first scene is him dipping his hand in the water trying to heal it. And so I saw people talking about how the hand wound could represent the wound of Joel that has kind of been reopened because of these circumstances, right? On one hand, you have the broken watch, which is holding on to the time when he lost his daughter. And then on this other hand, you have this, he's reopening that wound, and we're seeing it slowly heal. And I was like, you know, that's cool if that's actually what they're doing. But when she says that part and it kind of focuses on his damaged hand for a second, at least I believe that might be the idea. And he's understanding like that it's not fair is part of that healing process for him to step in and kind of help her out with that. So it's just interesting.
No pun intended. On one hand, you have the hand.
Yeah.
On the other.
I didn't even notice I did it. So.
But I think it also symbolizes in a way too that, like, with a closed fist, you know, punching and stuff like that, the violent, quick to react method, now that Ellie's here, isn't always the option he needs to default to as well. You know, symbolic in multiple ways too.
When he was telling her to get into the other room through the hole when they were being attacked, that was such a big parallel to when he lost Sarah. When the outbreak, the infection, when they had their own car crash, and he was making sure Sarah was safe. And then when he's holding Sarah and he tells her, "You look at me, you don't look at anyone else, you look at me." And with Ellie, he is telling her, "Look at me, you're not gonna look anywhere else, you're gonna go straight over there and you're gonna make it." And that was just like, you know, he had to have been thinking, he thinks of Sarah all the time, probably, especially with Ellie around. But in that moment specifically, it doesn't matter that it's a different situation. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing in his mind.
I feel like a lot of the things that they go throughout this story and throughout the game are proxies for dystopian proxies, but proxies nonetheless of experiences he would have had with Sarah. You know, a lot of their experiences mirror each other, except more marauders exist. And more bullets are flying at them, but definitely appreciate that parallel.
Now they're in league with Henry, and now I'm worried because I mean I feel like Henry's probably a good. There's a kid, and he just wants to like draw and be a superhero, you know. And I guess technically there are no kids anymore. It's a rough world out there. But they got jumped and brought into this crazy plot. But now that Henry and Sam are there, now they're in it, and like they're screwed on both sides.
Going off of that, I really like the introduction of the Kansas City kind of like whatever they call themselves, rebel groups or anti-Fedra group, whatever. Because it reminds me, it's like we're getting to see the setup of, this isn't a spoiler, but the setup of the WLF in part 2. Something similar to that, because we never got to see the setup of that. And this kind of feels kind of like it. And I really like to see that.
Do you think we might see some of like the B side from part 2 in this season? Just because it's not, it's pertinent to the setup of what you're talking about. And so if they establish it in this season, if they go to part 2 in season 2, they would have already laid the foundation for it.
Yeah, I think that would be really smart. And even if it's not like a direct to the WLF or whatever happens in part 2, I think that they're laying the groundwork, like you said, for that to make more sense.
Yeah. Once
we get to that part of the story, if it does, so they don't have to do as much building as they would otherwise.
So Joel's gonna have to do something, but that's a conversation for another day. I think that's where we're going to wrap up this reaction for Last of Us episode 4.
Please hold on to my hand.
Yeah, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more videos like it, and follow our good friends Cal4, search them anywhere and you'll find them, and Danielle, written in the Star Wars, at TikTok, and Danius94 on Twitter. Choco, what did we learn this week?
We learned that diarrhea is hereditary. It runs in the genes. So be careful.
I'll add on top of that, to the person who invented zero, thanks for nothing. All right. We'll see you guys next week. No pun intended.